The games that we see being played at parliamentary committees and in the House of Commons, that is hurting the lives of Canadians, and it is the Conservatives who are doing this.
Welcome back to Moose on the Loose. My name's David. Today we're talking about Justin Trudeau, who has called a by-election in Toronto, and something fishy is going on because it stinks in Toronto now. It's stinking really fishy down there. So let's just jump into what we've got here, and we'll try to figure this out as we go. So what we're talking about here today is this, posted on the Canadian PM, which is an official account. Today, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau announced that a by-election will be held on January 24th, 2024. So we're talking just over a month in the electoral district of Toronto St. Paul's in Ontario. So if we jump into the comments here, there's a lot of people throwing out their suspicions with this. There's some answers we have here. So just to show here, this is from the official government page. So this is, not a meme or a joke or whatever. This is what's really going on. Just a Canadian girl said, forced out, no. Setting the stage for Carney replacement, yes. Not forced, part of the plan. Who's running for the job? So first off, let's just take a look at what we got here. As you can see, it's mostly blue. If we look at the provincial projections, same thing we got going on here, dominant in blue. We look at the popular vote, same thing. The Conservatives just continuing to dominate. Liberals continually going down. But the more important thing is the electoral seats that are won, because the last election, the Conservatives had more popular vote, but they did not win. So here's the seat projection, obviously dominating, the block moving up a little bit. Now, if we look at this, this is the Nanos polling from 2021. You can see here federal election results. And so the riding we're talking about here today, if we zoom in, is this one. So this is the Toronto St. Paul's. So this is the one with the by-election. Now today, obviously, all these colors will be a lot more blue, but this is back from 2021. Just remember that. So we jump back to these comments here. Why is there a by-election? Whose spot is vacant, or did they poll someone? Carney will take over, as Robert Fife said it in the fall, be acting PM and lie his head off. Convince some, but not enough to win. The cons will have enough to get a majority to beat the coalition. So who is Robert Fife? Got on the next one here. Robert Fife is the Ottawa bureau chief of the Globe and Mail. So he apparently, according to this guy, is saying that Mark Carney is going to step in there. Carney sits on numerous boards of directors, high-profile businesses, Bank of England, a few citizenships, and the rest. I don't see why he dropped all of that for a year. It doesn't make sense. Power will make people do outrageous things. Often power is more important to some people than anything else. Just feeling powerful and actually being able to command dominance over other people. So I wouldn't rule it out just looking at a general broad view of someone's life, because maybe what they're missing most is dominant power and they will give up everything for it. So would this lead to an early federal election? Yes, Canadians desperate for that election. It'll be interesting to see which Liberal they install next in Toronto. That will tell a lot. I suspect he'd been told to step down, but make it showy for his WEF bosses. Force, no, they might play it that way, but the script is already written. A lot of comments here about the WEF and the WEF pulling the strings, Klaus Schwab, this is all part of their plan. I don't think Trudeau getting destroyed in the polls is part of the plan, but maybe his downfall, yes, is written according to Klaus Schwab. Our political system is so flawed. This should be illegal. Federal servants shouldn't be able to call a by-election like this. If they call an election, it should be one with the full nation involved. The public servants being able to do this is manipulative in nature. So we got a few more comments here, and then there is some info we got on this. Why would he do this? There has to be something shady up his sleeve to out of the blue announce or even want this, right? Why do we need a by-election if not to parachute a leadership candidate into a Liberal stronghold? So this is alluding to, Mark Carney dropping in. With a little bit of digging though, if we look at this, Liberal Party of Canada announces Leslie Church as Team Trudeau candidate for Toronto St. Paul's. So I don't think it's Carney unless they're able to do a little switcheroo or something, because it says right here, Liberal Party's announced Leslie Church, accomplished leader, blah, blah, blah. Leslie is a passionate community leader, is already ready to roll up her sleeves. They love that roll up the sleeves when they're the last people who have ever rolled up their sleeves ever in any jobs they've ever done. So let me know down below what you guys think what's going on, because we've already got Leslie Church announced here, which was just a couple weeks ago. So Mark Carney is the man that will give us all digital IDs. Beware. So speaking of digital IDs, we've got this one here. Breaking: digital ID has officially passed in Australia. This was their ultimate goal with this thing. 15-minute cities coming soon.
Third reading, the bill for an act to provide for the accreditation of entities in relation to digital IDs and to establish the Australian Government digital ID system and for related purposes.
I have to report that the Digital ID Transitional and Consequential Provisions Bill 2023 has been fully considered by the Federation Chamber and has been agreed to without amendment. I present a certified copy of the bill. The question is that the bill be agreed to. I'll put the question. Those opinions say aye. Against no. I think the ayes have it. Those opposed, division required? No division required. This bill has been agreed to.
Are they just going by ear? Like, I think I heard more eyes. Let's just pass it. Is that what just happened there? Oh, this is not good. Australia, I feel for you. If you're not really familiar with the digital IDs, all you have to do is look to China, where now it's like if you jaywalk, they discount your social credit score because they have cameras on every corner and it deducts points. And then if your score goes low enough, they don't let you do stuff. Like you can't go to stores and buy food and all sorts of things. It is some serious draconian stuff. It gets you right by the kahunas, and it's dangerous. It's not freedom. That is enslaving the people. Jumping back to the topic here, we got this one. It's past due. Any sane Liberal would want him forced out. At this point, the best chance they have to keep official party status is to call an election. Canada is going to free fall for a few years. If they hold on to power, it may be 10 to 15 years till they win another election. Yeah. It has to be long enough that either people move or people forget. I don't know. I don't think most of us are going to forget what Trudeau has done to us. I mean, all Trudeau has done this entire time is just blame Harper. And we have a clip here which highlights just that. This is from Garnet Genuous.
Madam Speaker, everything is broken, but they're refusing to take responsibility. It's somebody else's fault all the time.
Yeah.
This is typical of the responses we get from this government. Emblematic of it was his reference to Phoenix at the beginning. He said, oh, yeah, the Conservatives and that pay system. Yeah, work on Phoenix pay system started under Conservatives. The Phoenix pay system was launched under the Liberals, and it has been 9 years, and the system is still failing our public servants. 9 years later, a system that work started on under the previous government, but which they launched, is still failing public servants. And of course, it's Stephen Harper's fault. You know, there's endemic corruption within the procurement system, and it's somebody else's fault. Out of control inflation, broken economy, crime, drugs, disorder. But it's not the fault of the people who have been running the place for the last 9 years. Madam Speaker, when will they take responsibility for their many failures?
I mean, there's so many things we could look at. It's not a cottage, it's a chalet. I mean, how much money there? The report's coming out that it's like $1 billion that was flushed through those multiple companies that has just been flushed right out of our pocket, the taxpayers' pockets, into those corrupt scandals. There's so many of them. Like, how much money are we gonna have to spend investigating all these scandals? Jumping ahead, this video Ryan Garrettson shared was really popping off recently, and you can see here it's posted May 19th, but this is actually from a couple months ago, but it's one I haven't seen before, and this just goes to show, even a couple months ago till now, things have gotten worse now. So things were already bad a couple months ago when this was filmed. As you can see here, he wrote, this video represents how the majority of Canada feels towards the current sitting PM. Canadians need to be pushed to the limit to react like this to someone. We are at our breaking point, and he keeps telling us everything is fine. I will note too, before I hit play, that there's a lot of cursing into this video. I'll minimize the audio bit, but there's a lot of cursing. Yeah, so there's a lot of F-bombs. There's a lot of the word tyrant. We're gonna just minimize that a bit, because the algorithm sometimes gets confused what these videos are. But yeah, Trudeau's right there. How does he keep going to work every day when he knows he's brought out this much anger towards him? Like, what is wrong with that man? Clearly, he's a bad leader. He just needs to, like, step down. In true Trudeau fashion, he will just blame everyone else. Next up, Chrystia Freeland and her little den of thieves here had an announcement to combat auto theft, we're taking concrete steps, including legislative changes, tougher penalties, enhanced intelligence sharing, and more. Auto theft is hurting Canadians financially and making people feel unsafe. That's not fair. How long did they sit on their hands before they decided to do something? And what are they really doing? This is embarrassing. This needs to be announced as something they're tackling. This is just their basic job. So let's take a look at the comments here. You know what's not fair? Canadians wanting an election, but being held hostage by the Liberal NDP for running our country into the ground. That's not fair. Step 1, stop importing 1.5 migrants and fake asylum seekers every year. Let me be clear, the best way to combat auto theft is to leave your keys by the front door. In fact, leave them in the ignition. We have to fight climate change, and our police force is too busy handing coffee to protesters to do their job and keep you safe. Too little, too late. So we've got a clip from this. I'm going to spare you the 53 minutes of this nonsense, but at the end, there's a reporter here with a thick Indian accent that asks, he just grills them, and then they all don't even know how to answer the question. It's quite funny.
Canadians wanted to see the changes in the criminal code in the last 5 years. They wanted to see the effective bail reforms so that criminals were behind the bars. We had seen recent Highway 401 crash where 1 3-year baby and grandparents, they died, and those suspects were out on the bail.
Just something to note there, him mentioning the baby and the grandparents that perished in that crash, or the guy who was out on bail was the one who did it, driving in the wrong lane. You can just look at their body language. They don't even want to look at him. They all feel uncomfortable. Freeland started doing the squiggle. She's feeling so awkward and weird because they know that they had a role in those deaths. They could have done something and they didn't.
Same things we are seeing now also. Scanners, in the budget is mentioned that over the next 3 to 5 years we'll get the scanners. Why don't we get the scanners in last 3 to 4 years? And loss to Canadian taxpayers is approximately $1 billion every year.
What is going on here? This is so disrespectful, especially he had that smile on his face. What? Yeah, this is liberals here.
Calculate last 5 years, it's a $5 billion loss, 50,000 of insurance claims, and there's a taxpayer's money. And then we give 15 billion to other countries also. So 20 billion, we could not have improve our healthcare system where emergencies wait time is 5 to 6 hours. Thank you.
Wow, so something you guys can't see on camera here, I'll back it up just 2 seconds. If we make it widescreen, look at her face, she rolls her eyes.
So 20 billion, we could not have improve our healthcare system where emergencies wait time is 5 to.
What is that? What's wrong with these liberals? They're just standing there just being rude. So nobody wants to answer this.
So thank you for those questions. There's a lot in there. Let me start with bail reform. So with respect to bail, we've been attentive to this issue, very attentive to this issue. And on bail, we worked very collaboratively with every single provincial government in this country, every single territorial government in this country, as well as law enforcement right around the country.
So he just goes on to ramble and ramble and ramble, and there's a whole lot of nothing there. So he also jumps up there and rambles as well. So Freeland, I'll play it in double speed just for a small portion of it, but basically she just starts talking in absolute basic generic situations. We did this back here, and we did that, and we're going to go do this, and we're going to do that. And it's like she's not even trying to answer the question. It's so stupid.
I want to say one more thing. So you see a lot of us here today, a lot of federal MPs and ministers, a lot of elected officials from Brampton, from Mississauga. You see some of our senior law enforcement leaders here. We're here on Victoria Day because we take this issue extremely seriously. We know the challenge is real and urgent. And the reality is we have a plan with specific tough measures. Many of them require actual legislation. They require changes to the laws we have on books. We have put forward that legislation, and now it needs to be passed. And it can sometimes feel like parliamentary maneuvers that you see in Ottawa are just about political games, and they don't affect, an ordinary person just living their regular life in their community, in a beautiful community like Brampton. But that's not true. We need these measures to be passed, and the games that we see being played at parliamentary committees and in the House of Commons, ongoing endless filibusters that mean it is taking far, far too long for urgent measures like this to be passed, that is hurting the lives of Canadians, and it is the Conservatives who are doing this.
So blaming the Conservatives, and then she just keeps going and going and going.
So I think everyone here agrees that auto theft is an urgent problem and challenge. I hope everyone in Canada would agree that it is. And, let's put the partisan...
We'll just end it there because she just keeps going and going. If I scrub through, she's just da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Like she's going here for 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 4 minutes of ramble. That's what Chrystia Freeland is good at, though, saying absolutely nothing of value. One thing that is changing, though, is Ontario's putting in some new laws to suspend driver's license of car thieves. This one here says, Canada's most populous province just announced it will suspend driver's license for at least 10 years for those who've been caught convicted stealing a car. Those convicted 3 times of auto theft will have their licenses suspended for life. Penalties will increase on the second and third convictions. A car is stolen every 14 minutes in Ontario, with a population of about 15.6 million. Car thefts in the province have increased dramatically in recent years, especially in Toronto, the largest city in Canada, leaving many residents frustrated. Authorities have said thieves target relatively new cars, including high-end pickup trucks and SUVs, which are then exported to Asian markets, Europe, Africa, Middle East. Yeah, a lot of them are going Middle Africa, Asia, India. Driving is a privilege, not a right. If you are shameful enough to prey on other members of our community for your own reckless gain, then you'll lose that privilege. Sakari said the province is also implementing stiffer penalties, including 1-year license suspension for those convicted of stunt driving. Now, will that make a big difference? Maybe, but I think a lot of these guys, from what I've seen in my research, a lot of these guys just come over for a weekend or 2 weeks or 3 weeks. They steal as many cars and then they get out of here. And maybe they come back later, and when it comes down to it, they don't care if they have a license or not. They're stealing a car. They're driving it into a cargo container, and then they're going and stealing another one. It's not like they're trying to set up their life and rent a place and buy a car, and so sure, it will help a bit. I think that's a good step. Why not put that in there? But I don't think it's really going to stop the absolute filth, the rats coming over here and stealing the cars. I think what would be a better thing to put in is give the police the license to shoot, because then if they steal a car, then they'd have the threat of maybe they would get a piece of metal going into their head. I think that's a bigger deterrent than having their license taken away for life in a country they probably don't even have citizenship to and don't care about having a license. So, and along the same lines there, we've got this one. United States border officials are reporting a shocking trend of known and suspected, this word, trying to cross the Canadian border, far outpacing the numbers caught at the border with Mexico. So we're getting the worst of the worst, the absolute filth and rats and just the diseased, terrible, disgusting vermin showing up on our shores. Because it's easy to get here, it's easy to take advantage of things. Canada is the money laundering capital of the world. It's the car theft capital. It's a great place for thieves to come because Trudeau Liberals don't really care about that. I mean, look at them. They're all a bunch of big den of thieves themselves. So, well, yeah, we just invite them in and give them citizenship. Denied for security reasons, wanted overseas, just call Ottawa. Now, where we are seeing some crackdown, and I apologize, I'm going to have to blur this video as I play it, probably mute it and talk about it like it's paintball. Montreal cops with the sticks are starting to clash with the anti-Israel protesters and do some crowd control. The group claims they were pepper sprayed. They were definitely clashing with these guys. So these are just a bunch of guys playing paintball with their paintball toys, and just guys wearing black. They're playing paintball. So you can see they're closing in on. They're playing capture the flag here. They want to take over the flag, and yeah, these people are hiding behind some umbrellas, and these guys in the black seems they are winning their paintball match because they're just playing a friendly game of paintball and capture the flag. And I don't think that blue umbrella is going to help much. You can check this out on X if you want to see the real non-blurred video. I apologize, but it does give you a rough estimate of what's going on here. For the full video, check out Alexandra Lovi. So jumping over to my group here, we're getting some interesting posts like this one from Curly Sue. So this shows the prices of McDonald's and Taco Bell, etc., and the increases. So you can see the end of 2019 price. Medium fry was $1.79, and today is $4.19. That is a huge increase, 134%. McChicken gone up 201%, 87, 68, 215% for the cheeseburgers. If we go Taco Bell, 118%, 79, 19, 19, 51% for Crunchwrap Supreme. Chick-fil-A, 79%, 96, 78, 81, 64%. These are huge increases in prices. Round and around she goes. Yeah, I'm sick and tired of getting blamed for all the things I've done. Yeah, that really falls in place here with today's episode. Vampire, Sunlight, Superman, Kryptonite, Liberals, Facts. Yeah. When you ask me how I'm doing and I say I'm functioning, this is what I mean. Yeah, this is definitely Canadians today. This one's pretty interesting. A national nuclear threat type event in a civil emergency for your area until further notice. This is an alert ready test thing. I don't know. Like, is this just a liberal scare tactic? What is this? Quiet, everybody. Trudeau is talking. That's going to wrap up today's episode. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think the Liberals are up to, Justin Trudeau's up to, calling a by-election in Toronto, St. Paul's electoral district. Is this going to be some switcheroo with Mark Carney? Do you think they're setting up Mark Carney? Do you think there's no Carney? I think Justin Trudeau's got too big of an ego, and I think he has worked out some deal with the Liberals to just not try to flush him out, and they're all going to just wipe out that party. They're going to wipe out the NDP, and they're all going to get paid. That's what I think. I don't think Carney's coming in, but who knows? Maybe he does. Let me know down below what you guys think. Thanks for watching the end of the video here. I greatly appreciate all of you. Be sure to subscribe and ring the notification bell. We'll keep fighting for freedom. We've got a year and a half left before we get there. I'll see you guys on the next one.